This is 143 pages of a love letter that my ex-boyfriend wrote me.
Oh, she slammed him. She got his ass right there, didn't she? Or,
And living in the middle of nowhere.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're done. You're over. You might as kaput. What is up, everyone? I hope everyone is good. Crazy madness everywhere in the world, for sure. But it's insane on the show, as always. 90 Day Fiance The Other Way. You have Sarper and Shekinah, who cannot seem to get on the same page, and they both are trying to hold on to things of the past. Just isn't going to work out. Josh and Lily. Lily has gone bankrupt. Josh is not going to be able to work, so how is that going to work out? You have Corona and Inky, who clearly they're not on the same page with what she wants versus what he wants, so that could be an issue. And then there's Statler and Dempsey, who, again, completely different personalities, who are about to be put in a van for God knows how long to be on this trip, which is not going to do anything good for their relationship. So interesting times we live in with this show, that is for sure. But first, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. Once we get to 1,000, we're going to be looking at that live show. Creeping up on it. We're almost at 800, so thank you again. But let's get right into it, because the madness seems to continue, and it doesn't seem like anyone is heading for a happy ending. So why are we doing this?
You know, I'm not going to be able to access television, websites, or social media.
Dude, have you, not researched even, just right off the bat, have you not researched even a little bit of what your life might be like moving to China? They restrict everything. So it appears he knows what's going on, but he's just completely disregarding the fact that he is about to go into a whole different ball game for his third marriage. Yeah, it'll probably work for a lady who has basically gone bankrupt trying to build this mansion of a house, or at least so she made it seem. There could be a little bit of a language barrier there. Maybe she's not completely bankrupt, but put a lot of money into it, and you're not going to be able to work for several years. What do you think is going to happen here? How do you think this is going to end? At some point, she is going to build a resentment to you, even if right off the bat she's like, no, come on, it's for love. Yes, come. No, there is going to be a resentment there. Just wait.
The craziest things that I have done to go to a country I've never been, where I can't work.
That is the understatement of the century.
My wife, have no family there.
It's almost like everything is working against you on this one. You know, you're going to a place you've never been, for your wife who you're going to rely on financially, which, okay, whatever, except for the fact that you can't work, and she will develop a resentment towards you. Just wait for it. And you don't have family there. So, how is this going to go for you? I don't know. I would love to look in someone's head and just see, in your mind, how does this go? It's just a happily ever after of you just hanging out in the house. You're able to get a job after 3 or 4 years, and she's able to put up with you for that long and just be good with it. I guess it's almost like a romance novel, or like a fantasy in the head that is just it's like a dream that you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, that really seemed real. And then you realize it wasn't real, only he never realized it wasn't real. That's kind of what it seems like in this instance.
China. This is my third marriage.
There it is.
And I want to make sure I do this right.
What is right to you? What does it mean, I want to make sure I do it right? Well, what did you do wrong on the first two? Because meeting a random person and then moving halfway across the world to a place you don't know the language, you don't know the society, you can't work, your wife is going to have to provide for everything, and she already is starting to be like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe kind of showing a little bit of the cracks in the armor. Even though she says it's okay right now, when she talks about it, he doesn't know she's bankrupt. He doesn't know this whole thing bankrupted her. Now, I know, little bit of an extreme term there, and I don't think necessarily she meant bankrupt, but the fact is her saying all that, she feeling some kind of way about it, and he's not even there yet. What's going to happen with this in the future? It's not going to lead to a happy ending, that's for sure. It's not going to lead to them walking the streets of China and eating Chinese street food and being happily ever after. No, it's going to lead to fights. Fight, 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 fight.
Surprised that I'm not stressed out. As soon as I arrived here, I felt like at peace. This is
It's almost like you're in some sort of honeymoon phase.
my new home.
Yeah, your new
This
home.
is my new home.
Is it common for men in China not to work while the wife provides the income?
Now, what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think A, the guy's going to be like, absolutely, it is perfectly common in China? B, he's going to ignore the question because it's awkward? Or C, he's going to laugh in his face? A, B, or C?
在中国，男人不工作是常见的，而妻子实际上提供收入。
Ah! Look at that face. He knows. Look at this. He's like, yeah, you idiot. He knows damn well what's up.
男人不工作，男人应该要工作，在中国绝对要工作，怎么不工作吃什么？
If you don't work, how are you going to eat? Now, do you think this guy is asking at some point, like, I know that my wife is successful in some way, shape, or form, obviously, but she's sinking a lot of money into what looks like a huge house with an elevator in it. Maybe we need to have the financial discussion, because that might not be far from the truth. If she's really hurting for money like she makes it seem, we may be in a situation where we may not eat for a while, or, I can't provide, so what's she going to do to make more money if she's maxed out every credit card? Not looking good. Not looking good at all. Now, Sarper and Shekinah seem to have this, fight like cats and dogs, rare relationship kind of thing going on, because they, on one hand, they fight, they nonstop, like almost like a drop down, drag out fight, and then they make up, and it's like they can't stop. They're like addicted. Like it's like addicted to a drug, but being addicted to a person. They can't seem to stop. His problem at this point is that he's got a bottle display, which seems to be his trophies. Now, he claims, it just reminds me of places, but then he says, but when I go to these places, I drink with women, so then I keep the bottle. So, in his own words, he speaks too much. So there's that problem. And then she thinks she's going to come along and just be like, bam, I got this letter from my boyfriend, and you're going to be pissed off at this. But there's some issues with that.
Back and nothing's changed. It's the same. I better not see that book of yours.
Now, of course, the book she's talking about is the book with all the X's that he said, every time I sleep with girl, I write X right here. It's like a notch on the bedpost, but 2,500 X's in a notebook. So, clearly he was proud of his exploits, and, or however many, is it exaggerated, is it not? I don't know, but he clearly was proud of what he was at least claiming to have done, and, she's a little upset about it. I get it. If you have trophies in it's not just, by the way, it's not just bottles in a box somewhere. They said, yeah, I kind of like these bottles when I was a kid. It is in a display case in the living room. So that kind of creates a whole nother layer of a problem there. So I get it. But for her to think she's going to come and slam a letter in his face that's an extremely long letter, but from a long time ago, and be like, how you like that? It has got to be one of the most childish relationships they actually have. And yet they keep going. This is the kind of relationship that's like, there's no way they'll work out, and then they're the only ones that end up together. Now, it very well could be because they just want the TV spotlight. That's the kind of couple that they are. But, maybe. Stranger things have worked. Stranger things have.
When she came to Turkey the first time, she asked, where did you get them? I said, different countries, different cities that I visited. Oh, okay. And then
Reasonable.
I had to stop there, but I said that I never drink by myself.
But what he means is, I meant to stop there, but I didn't.
Of course, she understood that. I drank with girls.
I don't drink with men. You stupid. I drink with girls. Of course you understand.
I have to stop sometimes.
My brain, it doesn't work that way. I don't think. I just say. So, I am sorry. Now we fight. Look, I don't understand. This is the thing I don't get about it. Like, okay, fine. It's still in your past. But having it in a display case in the living room for all to see, it is trophies. That's what it is. It's not in some box somewhere and you're just like, oh, that's my old bottle collection. It's like predominantly displayed in a nice display case. So, yeah, it might create a little bit of friction. Just a little bit.
Rude, yeah.
Why do you think that's not rude? Why is that okay?
Because for you to make peace with it, it's not a big deal.
Make peace with it?
Yeah, it's...
You make peace with this.
What is it?
This is 143 pages of a love letter that my ex-boyfriend wrote me.
Oh, she slammed him. She got his ass right there, didn't she? Or maybe she is the most childish of them all because it's a love letter from when she was 16 years old. This is not the own you think it is, lady. It's not. She actually thinks that her slamming this love letter that she kept that's 144 pages long or whatever in his face, it's the, well, I kept this. I'm pretty sure some of those bottles are from like less than a year ago, and yet this is from when you were 16. Like, I understand he's acting like he's upset a little bit, but most guys would probably just be like, why do you have that? And she'd be like, well, aren't you mad? I mean, it's a little odd that's from when you're 16 and it's a 144-page letter, but no. So, like, she thinks she got him here. In reality, like I said, he needs to get rid of the bottles. That is dumb. Like, why? But her thinking this is just the epitome and the explanation of their relationship in one, like, argument of how childish they both are. Him keeping these bottles for no reason. He knows it's memories of other women he slept with. Her keeping this letter and slamming it like it actually matters is ridiculous. And this is also why they will never have some kind of serious relationship. It's just always going to be this fighting like cats and dogs about petty BS. That's all it is. Now, Corona and Inky, they are doomed from the get-go, and I'll tell you why. Because for one, just like all the other couples, they are not on the same page about what they want. She is flying halfway around the world to Iceland with this romance novel-esque picture in her head, which seems to happen a lot with these shows. There's at least one couple who has a romance novel picture in their head that they're trying to live out. That is what she is doing at this point. And he is more like, well, there's some logic between... around why he is doing what he's doing, but we'll get to that.
We're gonna grow together and what the future looks like for us. Like, the ground underneath me is not as solid as it once was, and I'm falling through the clouds now.
My God, this is what I'm talking about. You're talking like a romance novel. The ground is not as solid and I'm falling through the clouds, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna live this big adventure. I'm like, lady, you ain't gonna be there for 2 weeks. Like, okay, I give him 3. I give him 3 weeks. She gonna be ready to go home. She ain't gonna want to live there, like, at all. She's got this picture in her head that is not gonna live to reality. What is it up with these people on this show living out dreams that they've had in their head, and instead of waking up and realizing it was just a dream, they just want to continue to try to live it? It's not reality. It's not logical. Like, they're crazy. They're all crazy.
Inky interview, take 1.
Look at this goof. He's like walking the streets. This is him.
My name is Inky, and I'm from Reykjavik, Iceland.
Hey, bless her.
This is a lot of personality on this one. I will give it to him. But, you know, he's out there. Now, she's out there too. But not exactly in the same way, I will say. He's kind of a nerd that likes to party. That's what he is. And she is, I don't know what she's doing with her life. She's interesting. I'll say that.
But like dating in Iceland can be a little like a Russian roulette.
What does that mean?
Like you don't know exactly like how related you are.
What did he just say? He literally just said you don't know how related you are.
Because here in Iceland, like, we are more related to one another than probably anywhere in the world.
And we figured it out. This is why he has searched outside the realms of Iceland, because he probably looked on this website he talks about saying you can see how related you are to someone, and found out he slept with like 3 half-sisters. What the hell do you mean in Iceland you're more related than most? Like, damn, they be doing it like that down there? Like, count me out to go to Iceland, I will say that, because that's a little odd. That's I'm being kind here. That's bizarre. Is anyone from Iceland and can verify, or is he just being crazy? Because, yeah, that's a fun story, that's for sure. And now you're not.
Kastaðu luckjacki fyrir mig.
Oh, 93 ekki gott.
Hvað planið á morgun?
I'm not going to lie. Them playing this board game, look, call me a nerd, whatever you want. that looks like a good time to me. Let's just play some crazy role-playing board games. Now, the cool thing about this is he's had these friends. He goes on to say he's had these friends since he was a kid. So they are all kind of this core group that you've hung out with. So I think that's pretty cool. And you still hang out with your friends and do things that, now they said they party, but they're also doing like things like this, just playing role-playing games, which, you know, I don't know. It's fun. What can I say? I've never played the board games, but role-playing games can be fun. So it's interesting. But the issue here is like, now they're like, but you're moving too fast. And he goes on to say that he doesn't have a ring in his pocket. He just met her and everything. And she's looking more for a proposal. So explain to me if that is going to end well, or if, you know, it's going to end with her leaving in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to say it's probably going to end with her leaving. I doubt this one lasts. This, out of all of them, this one might be the one I'm least confident in. But we'll see. Like, I've been surprised in the past. You never know. Statler and Dempsey. They made the fun decision to live in a van and sell everything they own. Well, really, it's kind of been Dempsey's dream, and Statler's going along with it, even though she knows she really has no interest in it, and really struggled to even live in the trailer that Dempsey had. So it's just not a smart, logical move. But I think impulse control issues is a good theme across, well, not a good theme, but a theme across the spectrum of these couples. They seem to all have impulse control issues. We need to ask them, like, what in your past is making you be so impulsive? Because I don't think I've seen a single couple in here who deal with, you know, overseas dating and all this that isn't on some level overly impulsive. So, anyways, they up and decide to move and do this caravan thing, but there are some hiccups. There's always some hiccups.
Bad karma. What the bro? Any day. Take a snail's pace here. All right, everyone's passing me. I know you're angry. I'm angry too. Oh.
So, good start? Or is this just going to lead to fighting and all kinds of things? Because if she's got some kind of anger, road rage because someone's car is breaking down because you got your hazards on, 9 times out of 10 there's an issue with the car. How are you going to be in a caravan, big van thing, driving across the country? You going to be screaming out the window at people when they're going too slow? It's not exactly the most peaceful, nice trip that I think Dempsey wants.
I will be the sole breadwinner for the unforeseeable future.
Resentment. There will be resentments. Like everything else, now she's saying, you know, the other girl sold her home, so it's not like she didn't contribute in some way, but she's agreed to be the sole breadwinner because she can work remotely. And I promise you this now, there is going to be resentment from her to the other one, to Dempsey. Even if they've agreed on it both. Even if there's I don't think there's any manipulation for this girl. I think they just agreed on it. But no matter what, there's going to be resentments. Watch. It's not going to take long either.
As carefree and just go with the flow as Dempsey is, but I'm overwhelmed by constant fear and anxiety.
Again, cope, falling back and saying, anxiety, fear, but yet you're moving across the country to, or not across the country, you're moving to another country to live in a van to cross their country, and yet you want to talk about anxiety and fear when you're talking about selling your car. Now, ultimately, you know, the selling the car thing doesn't exactly work out, and there's, you know, more to that down the road because she makes it seem like one thing, which isn't exactly true. But either way, she's already talking about, oh, my anxiety, oh, my fears. Lady, this is going to be complete misery for both of you, and it's going to be mostly you that's causing the misery. That's already pretty clear at this point.
There's like less space than I
This is when she actually was going to, or lived in the trailer for a bit.
realizing. I want to take a shower, but I can't just like hop into the shower. It doesn't have hot water. Got to take a dump at some point. Like, I'm hoping I don't have to take one while she's gone, or she's going to walk back and see me squatted in a field.
But you think something's going to be different when you're living in something that is significantly smaller than this place. Like, what goes on in your head? This is why I said, you know what? If I could have a superpower, it would probably be seeing in people's heads. Well, you know, no one really wants to see what goes on in people's heads. But to be able to see these brief little things, see what the hell you're actually thinking in these moments. Because you are doing something that will be significantly more anxiety-riddled kind of things going on instead of in the trailer, which, you know, for two of you wasn't that bad. Now you're going to be in a van. That's where you're going to live. And yet I guess we're saying we're doing it for love. I guess that's what we're doing.
So many numbers being thrown around. It didn't compute.
So what basically happened is that she decided not to sell her car, and then she comes back and Dempsey tells her, we don't have enough money for the van. And then she's like, well, what happened? She acted like I was supposed to commit my car to this. But then as they talk further, it turns out that they actually agreed upon this. They both came up with a certain amount of money, and selling the car was going to cover the last little bit. But yet, for some reason, in her head didn't compute because she wasn't thinking about the conversion rates or something. Some excuse she makes up when in reality, in the beginning, she made it sound like, no, I just was going to sell my car to pay off my loan, and it didn't have anything to do with them. So who's lying here? Statler's lying. Definitely Statler's lying. Dempsey, I believe in this case. And, you know, she just is trying to cover herself now because she got, you know, whatever. She decided the one impulsive decision she's not going to make is to sell her car, and now she's trying to lie about the reasons for it.
What's gonna happen when we're together 24/7 and on top of each other and living in the middle of nowhere?
I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're done. You're over. You might as well leave each other. You might as well just stay in the States, because what are you thinking? Are you high? And how many drugs are these people in the show actually on? Because they must be on some good ones with all the crazy stuff they're doing and all the crazy impulsive decisions they're making. Either way, not going to end well. Corona and Inky aren't going to end well. She's going to get up out of there, out of Iceland. And then Statler and Dempsey are already starting to fight. Sarper and Shekinah, they can't even make up their mind about their pasts. And then there's Josh and Lily, who are just not going to have any money, I guess, and resentments are going to build. 90 Day Fiance The Other Way is... a train wreck. It's just a train wreck. And it's not going to stop. I don't think any one of these couples is actually going to make it. They just don't have any hope. It doesn't appear that there's any real, you know, passion, love, whatever you want to call it. It's not there. This is just impulse control issues that people can't seem to get under control. And what's going to happen? They're all going to end up separate, alone. And then they're going to have the reunion special. They're going to get their last 15 minutes of fame and then on to the next couples, because that's what these shows do. But I'm here for it because it's entertaining. So there is that. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support. Let's head off to 1,000 subscribers. We are close to there. We're almost to 800. So thank you so much again, and I will see y'all next time.